Is the accountant industry dying? Why are accountants quitting in droves? Let's see what TikTok has to say.
70% of all practicing CPAs right now will be retired in 10 years. This is very, very scary, and the reason for that is because we do not have young people coming into the accounting world. If you have a CPA, I would take care of him just like your most trusted advisor. If there's anyone out there that wants to come into the accounting world, I will tell you, you will catapult to the top in a very short period of time, even if you're not that good. And that's because of our CPA shortage. So just take care of your CPAs, make sure that you are jumping through hoops for them, because this is a dying industry and we all need them, and it's going to continue to get worse. That's what's scary.
Hi, this is Enrique. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about the accounting industry and how there's a shortage of accountants, CPAs, enrolled agents, and tax professionals that are currently in the field to be able to serve the general public. So you may ask, why am I doing this video? So I've been doing taxes for about 20 years, and I've been an enrolled agent for over a decade. And one of the things that I've ran into was ever since around 2020, there's been a larger shortage of tax professionals in my area. And so my business has actually boomed. Most of my clients, they are actually retirees and people with investments. And so what ends up happening is a lot of the accountants that used to serve this general public in my area, a lot of them either passed away, they moved out of state, or they decided to retire during that period. They found 2020 and 2021 a good time for them to be able to retire and move on with life. And a lot of these people, they were very successful, so they had the means to properly retire and look for other avenues to be able to enjoy life during their later years. So today we're going to be reacting to several TikToks which I think give a good explanation as to why the accounting industry is dying, and it's very difficult to find younger people under 40 to be able to join the accounting world and to serve the general public when it comes to accounting and tax preparation. So let's get started.
The accounting industry really is on fire. And I know that sounds a little dramatic to say, but over the last 10 years, student enrollment in the accounting degrees is down by 9%. And then alternative, in the last 2 years, 300,000 accountants and auditors have left the industry. What's crazy?
You know, it is true. You can see it. Just overall, I get a lot of people calling me all the time, telling me that they cannot find an accountant during tax season or even throughout the year. They just say they call different offices to try to find someone that can help them with their bookkeeping needs, and it's nearly impossible. They say that they're just they're full. They don't have the capacity to be able to take on another client.
Is Americans are starving for more tax advice. We've just been talking about Roths and paying our kids and building tax-free accounts, and then, well, I want to have a conversation with someone. Well, the accountants are like, I'm burned out, I'm working too hard, I don't like it, it's miserable. This last year, we launched our Main Street Certified Tax Advisor program, where we take accountants that are starving for what we call the Holy Grail, and that's an advisory practice. They want to be advisors. They just don't know how to do it. I'm really teaching accountants.
You know, that is one thing that is true. There's a lot of people out there that are currently looking for ways to make money. And so one of the quick ways for people that are joining the accounting world, the few that are out there, they actually do want to be tax advisors, because there's a lot of people out there that they need to know how to be able to help their situation so that they pay less taxes. And there's a lot of room out there for these people. The problem is like I said, the younger people, they're just not interested in joining this accounting profession. A lot of people, what I've noticed is they want to be able to earn the money really fast and really quick. So a lot of people are running into the situation where they're trying to get into these get-rich-quick schemes. But the problem is a lot of times that's the reason why people are joining crypto a lot too, because they think that, oh, I can go ahead and just put in a couple thousand and then I'll be a millionaire. And so those are things that I think that are also taking away from the fact that there's a lot of people that are willing to put in the effort to be able to become a CPA or to become an enrolled agent or to become a tax attorney or a tax professional, to be able to put in the effort and time to serve the general public.
accountants how to build the advisory practice, bill more. Clients want to pay more if they get the advice and save taxes, and then they don't have to work as hard. I want to run into the building. If it's on fire, I'm running in. I want to be a champion for the accounting industry and help accountants fall in love with it again.
You know, that's the thing that a lot of people, they look at the accounting industry as boring, but in reality, if you do certain things, you can actually make it pretty enjoyable. So for me, I actually enjoy accounting. It's very rewarding to see people save money, to be able to help people throughout the year and see the fruits of everything that you've done. The only thing is like I said, for a lot of people, they just don't have that mindset. You know, they go into it thinking about how much money they make versus helping people out. And so you have to go into this industry with a mindset of you are going to be putting in a lot of hours, but at the end of the day, you are going to help people out. And that itself should give you the motivation to keep going and to see people appreciate all the effort that you put into the work that you're providing to them. So another thing that I see here too is a lot of people, once they join the accounting world, and one of the reasons why they eventually quit and move on is because they suffer from burnout. So that's a very common theme. A lot of people get burnt out, especially during tax season. I know that there has to be a work-life balance, but a lot of the times accountants are riddled with deadlines. So that is very common, especially during the January 31st deadline. You have the IRS starting tax season around this time, around the end of January. But not only that, but you have a lot of deadlines. You have January 31st deadline for a lot of people that need to file sales tax returns. And then also you have 1099s. And then you have another deadline coming up on the 15th of February, which usually involves people who have to file other types of returns or payments. And you continue to have deadlines throughout the year. You have a March 15th deadline, an April 15th deadline. And every single month you have deadlines, especially if you deal with people who do payroll or people who have other types of individual returns that may require for them to be able to file certain forms or to pay certain payments. So just overall, this can actually contribute to a lot of burnout. So let's go ahead and watch another video here.
I have a message for people in accounting who are in their busy season and feeling burnt out. Because Jim Quick says, what if we are burnt out not because we're doing too much, but because we're doing too little of what lights us up? And it seems super relevant during busy season because there's always so much to do and there's so much work, and work can really crowd out the things that you enjoy, your hobbies, the way your self-care, the way that you relax. And I know everyone has a ton of work on their plates. They have so much to do. They have a never-ending to-do list. But is it possible to carve out just a small block of time each day to do a fun hobby or activity that energizes you? Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes, it can really make a big difference. Because my guess is your work product is still going to turn out okay, even if you take small breaks throughout the day to do something that restores you and makes you feel better. You will be happier, more energized, and ultimately you might even end up doing better work. So a message for accountants: are you doing too little of what lights you up and makes you feel alive and gives you energy?
So that is actually a very true statement. If you are working a ton of hours as an accountant, maybe 60 hours plus a week, it's very important that you too take some small amount of time to be able to take walks in the morning, walks in the afternoon, or maybe find a good hobby or something that you can go ahead and focus your energy on to be able to relieve that stress. One of the things that I like to do is go to the gym. Lately, I've been doing the boxing classes and the jiu-jitsu classes, which help sweat out all that energy out and just clear your thoughts. And then when you do come in back to work, you do feel more energized. You treat people better. People can see it. You know, when people come in, you are not grumpy. That's one of the things that's very important. You want to leave all your problems at home. And so by following this advice, you know, to not getting burnt out, you'll last longer. Like I said, I've been doing taxes for 20 years, and every single year becomes tougher and tougher. As my practice has grown, it's been more difficult to be able to find that work-life balance. Even throughout the entire year, it gets very difficult. But at the end of the day, if you do have good hobbies, then this will keep you going, especially if you have something to release all of that stress within you. And so this doesn't just apply to the accounting profession. This also applies to other professions as well, because just like I can say, oh yeah, I will get stressed throughout tax season, there's people out there, like you'll have people that work in the AC industry where I live at in the desert, we get people that are constantly being sought out for to be able to make sure to do the maintenance on all the air conditioning appliances. So I know for a fact when I do their bookkeeping, I can see that there is a high increase of demand during the summer months. So for them, they have a very similar situation. And you do have other people, such as people who sell insurance. They have a certain block of time where they are busy. And so it just goes with a lot of different professions. You have to be able to have a work-life balance. That way you don't get burnt out. Now, another concern for a lot of people trying to get into the accounting industry is the fact that they have a fear of artificial intelligence replacing their jobs. So I did find a video which we're going to react to that I think explains this very well.
Will AI replace accountants? This is a question that I see a lot on social media, and I have a lot of strong opinions about this because part of my current work is in designing and developing AI systems at a public accounting firm, and because I've been an accounting professor for the past 7 years, where I teach accounting information systems and data analytics for accountants, and we talk about AI all the time. But I don't even have to get technical to explain to you why I believe that AI will never replace the role of the accountant. And that's because the question confuses the tasks of an accountant with the role of an accountant. And the tasks of an accountant, accounts payable, account reconciliation, financial statement prep, is different than the role of being the person or group of people responsible for analyzing, interpreting, and communicating about financial information. And whoever is performing that role, regardless of whether they use Excel or AI or quantum computing, that's an accountant. And as long as money's valuable, that's important.
So this guy said it best. You know, when it comes to AI replacing the role of an accountant, I do think that a lot of repetitive tasks, especially if you do a lot of bookkeeping or a lot of data entry, I think eventually a lot of that can be automated. So you as an accountant will be able to have more free time to be able to focus on what matters most, which is interpreting, analyzing all of this data, and to be able to communicate that in layman's terms to your clients. So I have a lot of clients, just overall spectrum. Like I said, the majority of my clientele is retired, but I do have a lot of younger people that have become my clients. So as you know, I get my client base matures, I do get the younger people that are 18, 19, 20, and then they eventually have children and so forth. And even the younger people still seek out my services year after year, even if they have the ability to prepare their own taxes. And the reason is because they still like that one-on-one communication with the accountant to be able to explain to them what's going on in their tax return, what they can do to be able to maximize their tax savings and so forth. So just because artificial intelligence is able to automate a lot of the tasks that the accounting profession allows for the accountants to do, it doesn't mean that the accountants are going away, at least not anytime soon. And even if the new president decides to impose tariffs on countries and it decides to eliminate the fact that we have to file an income tax return, I still do think that going forward, there still will be a need for accountants for other purposes, because accountants not only prepare tax returns, but they're able to analyze these financial statements, relay that information to anybody who needs it. So accounting profession is a very solid job for those people that are willing to stick to it and not get burnt out. So another thing, like I said, that I'm seeing that's very, very common is you get a lot of these younger generation, Gen Z, that they are not joining the accounting profession as much as the older generation. And so here I have another TikTok video, which I think will explain this very well.
If we don't do something about this in the next year or two, we will be in a situation where there aren't enough accountants to ensure that financial statements are accurate and free of, misstatement. And that's a threat to our economy.
It truly is. That's the thing that it's interesting. And the LinkedIn thread where people are like, there's a few, those 10 percenters, let's refer to them as, they're like, well, you're watering the designation down. I'm like, watering the designation down or protecting the public? I don't know.
So yes, it is true. Right now, we do have a situation where there's less and less people to help out. So people that are doing accounting, like I said, they just have a boatload of work. So it's very difficult sometimes to be able to find time throughout the day to be able to serve the clients. Obviously, when you do have a set of clients where you cannot go any further, you have to start getting to a point where you're rejecting people, which is something that I've recently done, where I've gotten to the point too where sometimes I have so much work and I still have more people that are asking for me to be their accountant. Unfortunately, it's very difficult sometimes to gauge whether or not I will have enough time in the day to be able to serve extra clients, because I want to make sure that the people that I do have within my circle that I'm working with, that I'm able to give them the best work that I can possibly give them, right? So yeah, sometimes if I see that one of my clients has either moved away or passed away, then yes, I'm willing to take on a new client, but I have to be very careful, because again, if I take on too much work, what's going to end up happening is then I'm going to start having errors pop up in my work. And like I've told people before, once I'm ready to retire, I am just willing to sell my entire practice. That's one of the main reasons why, as of this moment, I've decided to take on the majority of my work and making sure that the people that I see, I don't pass on to any third parties, because the last thing that I want is for there be errors on those returns where maybe I am not the one that prepared it. So once I'm ready, I think that at that point, I'd rather just find someone that's capable of doing the work that I feel that can take on my clients, to pass down the torch to that other person that can take on those people. So again, a lot of people think that this job or that this profession does not have good pay, but that's actually a myth, because most accountants, after working several years, can go further than six figures, and it is very rewarding. On top of that, for the accountants who start their own practice, those people can make more than six figures if they can play it right. So this profession does have a lot of rewards, but at the same time, you do have to put in the time and effort to be able to get to those results. So if you are inspiring to become an accountant, I highly recommend it. So what do you think? Do you think becoming an accountant is still worth it? Let me know down in the comments. If you want more reaction videos from me, let me know in the comments below. I will provide you guys more content that I think will make you guys a better person. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.